Oh, the session. I've also started to record. So if you um, don't feel like you want to have your face showing in the recording, it's no problem. Um, so just write in the chat. Dana has already written there, so it's easy, it's fun, and this is a great way to make the session interactive. Okay, so basically the question of the day and the question of today's webinar is, how do you create an environment where people feel engaged, problems get solved, and innovation thrives? Hopefully we're going to go through some of the topics today, and we're gonna be able to answer this question by the end of the webinar. I think it's going to be very fun. So mindset number one, this is what you came from, right? It's about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So the real question for organizations is, which mindset are we developing? Are we developing a fixed mindset? It's a mindset where we don't take on challenges, where we believe that people are the way they are and they're not going to change. Are we developing an organization where we punish failure because we believe that failure is risky, that failure will take the organization down? Do we encourage people to have a lot of to put in the effort necessary to solving the 21st century challenges? So people that have this fixed mindset actually will create organizations where people are afraid to ask questions. People are afraid to um, challenge the status quo and also try to make things better. On the other side, there are people that understand that challenges and failure are part of the process. They understand that by going through things that we haven't done before, it's the only way that we can increase and create talent. This is one of the biggest challenges that organizations have, especially coming from the 20th century and coming into the 21st century. So within the 19th and the 20th century, there was a revolution in management. So um, it was the movement was called Taylorism. Basically, I think William Taylor was the name of the person that invented this current, and it was a movement that was very big on measurements. They were very big on KPIs and best practices. This was very good for the 19th and the 20th century because most of the work that, let's say, operational people had to do was very repeatable. So processes and trying to create best practices was the way to go and was the way to increase an organization's performance. However, as automation started to gain a lot of traction, and as things started to develop, automation became a thing in the 21st century. Now, uh, a lot of organizations face extinction because they are not supporting innovation. And now this comes from what we have learned. This comes from trying to make the people serve the processes instead of making the processes serve the people. And also this comes from stifling what we call the growth mindset. Now, I want you to write in the chat, and I want you to answer this question. Which mindset do you think we are born with? Do you think we're born with the growth mindset, or do you think we're born with a fixed mindset? So go ahead, write in the chat. I see people writing growth, a lot of people writing growth. So basically this is it. We're actually born with a growth mindset, right? So basically what we see here is a small child that's actually trying to learn how to walk. Basically, this child will fail hundreds, if not thousands, of times to walk until they do. That's that's it. That's the number one evidence that people are born with the creative mindset and the instinctual habit of trying, failing, then doing it again, then doing it again, and repeating until they succeed. So basically, when we're looking at this growth mindset, we're asking ourselves, okay, if children are born this way, what happens? What's the what's happening in the meantime until people become adults, that we sometimes no longer have the growth mindset? Because I think at least I think most of the people here know at least one person that thinks that talent is innate, that thinks that failure is actually something to run away from, that doesn't like other people to succeed. Um, and one of the most interesting exercises that you can do, and you can also do it in your companies, is the marshmallow challenge. So basically, what you do is you gather a bunch of people, you put them in teams of four, and then you give them 18 minutes and 20 sticks of spaghetti, 1 yard tape, 1 yard string, and well, it's not one marshmallow. It's you give them a set of marshmallows. But basically, this is kind of the result that happens. Usually, this experiment has been done thousands of times, and the best results, their target is to build the highest tower possible, and the best results are actually um, achieved by children, kindergarten children, people that actually are used to fail often. On the opposite spectrum, the worst performing population is population management. Basically, what the feedback from this um, study showed is that people in management talk too much about how to do it before they even start understanding or start trying how to do things. So it's something that happens within the educational process. It's something that happens while we get trained to work in companies that stifles this growth mindset. Now, when when looking at this from a management perspective, what you want as a manager, you want to have the skill of growing your teams and growing your leaders. So this is the question that I have for you. How do you feel about failure? How do you actually feel about your colleagues failing? You can answer in the chat. How does failure feel to you? I can see someone wrote that they accept colleagues' failure easier. They are more harsh on themselves. Nice. Thank you, Dana. How does failure feel to you guys? Nice. A way to learn and a way to grow. That's very healthy, Marius. Nice. I see here, Cosmin. Failure is unavoidable. It helped me grow, more focus on my objective rather than failure on my colleagues. That's really nice. Come on, come on. Let's get the party started. How do you guys feel about failure? This is a crucial step in the conversation, actually. How can we overcome challenges and use them to our advantage? It's what matters. Yes, that's actually true. Um, that's actually true. However, failure is actually pretty scary also. Um, I've in my coaching practice, and I've done a lot of coaching with a lot of organizations. Um, I've seen people that really hate this first sentence. They really hate to let other people fail, especially if the people that fail have a direct impact on the things they are measured on. So if we're talking about people in management, it's really hard to have people that work alongside you, that maybe you're in charge of, and you need to let them to do this. um, and this is something that's really tough for people. Giving up control is very tough for people. So the idea is to understand that failure, as I think Cosmin said a little bit earlier, is a way to learn, is a way to understand how to reach your objectives. So basically, failures should inspire learning. They shouldn't inspire fear. That's something that's really tough for people to understand. It's a mindset shift. It's emotional. It's not something that's really logical. It's just an emotional change. However, if we make failures transparent, if we communicate, hey, this is the problem, this is the failure that we've had, and this is the lesson, and we propagate the learning that we took from failures in the organization, we basically raise the performance of everyone that hasn't gone through that failure. That's one of the big things, and that's one of the key messages, and the, let's say, the most positive message that I can leave you with this evening. Now, actually, this is the key aspect. The number one ingredient for self-organization and for innovation is failure. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of ways in which people grow. It's only going through the process of only trying to do things, and then um, trying to do them again and again and again until things actually start becoming uh, very easy. So how does SAFE solve this challenge? Actually, this is one of the key things that we need to embrace in our organizations if we want to get out of failing. So basically, the SAFE has developed a competence which is called Agile Product Delivery. The competence of Agile Product Delivery is specifically done for accelerated learning. So working in small iterations. However, creating releasable increments within small iterations is actually key to enabling people and giving them a safe space to fail, because The difference in organizations is that some organizations work on huge chunks of work, and then even if they work on iterations, they don't deliver until the end. So, for example, let's say we're working on something that can potentially take 3 months. And we, even though we use Scrum, and even though we have sprints, and even though we have something at the end of the sprint, it's not working. It's not releasable. It's not something that we can actually deliver to our customers. That's one of the biggest challenges that organizations have, is how do you create this releasable type of work which you can test faster. Also, the other thing that organizations can do and should do is to try to create built-in quality within their process. So, for example, in programming, you can do unit tests, which actually will test your code before you even go into a delivery environment. So these are ways of failing fast, of actually getting feedback faster, because the key is feedback here. And also, for example, creating what they call a continuous delivery pipeline, which is a way to integrate faster, a way to make sure that things that should synchronize really synchronize. So working in small iterations, when I say small iterations, is breaking down a huge project into chunks of work of um, 1 week up to 2 months, and really trying to see what is the result and checking the result at the end of each iteration, trying to make sure that everything that we do has a clear quality process, even if it's testing at the end of each iteration, or doing things that embed quality in, like unit tests for software development companies. This these are the things that does in order to help organizations uh, remove the fear of failure. Now, the second thing that we can focus on, or that we should focus on, is where are we? What are we doing? Are we working in the environment versus are we working on the environment? Especially, this is a great question to ask when working with managers, and I've had really interesting responses. And I wanna actually ask you, how do you feel about giving up control? Yes, I see Mihaela saying a safe environment equals fail fast and recovery fast. Yes, fast recovery is also key to having a safe environment. So, how does it feel to give up control? I assume you mean driving. So it depends. If I'm behind the wheel, then giving up control is scary. That's true. More time to learn something new. Yeah, that's also true. And yes, it's scary in general. Giving up control is never comfortable, actually. That's one of the biggest challenges that that managers actually have. So what what do I mean by working in the environment? First of all, um, I mean firefighting. So people that come into the office and they start reading their email and they start replying and they start um, uh, they start um, making uh, the first um, what is it? The first uh, calm setting of the day, basically. So what they do is they come in, they see colleagues fighting, they go to them, they start chatting with them, they start trying to create alignment, etc. So in a lot of organizations, because of lack of clear rules and lack of clear agreements between different parties, we see a lot of misalignment and people start fighting very fast, especially if the team boundary ends within their team, for example. So uh, in my work, I work with a lot of managers that actually um, have as a day job basically trying to align different people from different teams, and this is a great way to add value. I'm not trying to devalue it. However, um, being in this state will not help you understand or create strategy. That's one of the biggest things that being always in operations will uh, take from you as a manager or as a person that's in a leading position. Aligning and realigning, of course, if you do a lot of firefighting, you'll basically need to align with people. You'll need to uh, realign different parties. You will need to do a lot of carryovers. This is also the idea of carrying information. You're basically the mailman, the postman between different sides of the organization. Now, the last thing that I want to emphasize here when we're talking about working in the environment is a lot of people actually get promoted for being very conscientious. So, for example, maybe we have a great developer and they're doing such a good job that we promote them to a team lead position. And the reason why they're promoted to a team lead position is because they have been a conscientious person. They have done their job well. They have always respected the deadlines. They are perhaps very competent. However, in a leadership position, when you start with the mindset of other people should act like me, then you get disappointed very fast. Then for you, it's easier to do their jobs. I mean, to code instead of your team members, and actually, uh, start working um, overtime, start doing um, a lot of the team's chores, basically trying to carry the team. However, the fun part about this is if you do a really good job, then you'll get promoted higher and higher and higher. And doing a lot of people's job will basically drain you. I've talked to a lot of managers that have been doing 10 to 14 hours per day, and I can tell you that they were not the happiest people with the jobs they were doing. So what helps with this is going into decentralized decision making. Basically, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you align with your stakeholders. You will tell your stakeholders, hey, I'm trying this experiment. I want the teams to fail faster. I want to let them grow. I want them to experience the challenges, give them the things that they need to do. Go into expectation management, align with the people that you're working with, tell them, look, this is what I want you to take care of. This is what I want to have within your responsibility, and basically try to help the teams, not by controlling them, but by creating an environment where they demonstrate that they have control. So basically, the question here is, what level of transparency do you need? or what tools do you need to create transparency at individual level? What tools do you need to create transparency at team level, at program or portfolio level? Now, basically, all of this works if you have clear goals and if you constantly check the progress. So it's not that hard. It's actually pretty easy. Just set up goals, have a progress check. Usually using OKRs will be a great way of doing this. And the check can be done if you have an agile team, for example, that's doing Scrum. You can embed OKRs within their Scrum process, or you can do something like a weekly alignment of how the goals go. Now, how does SAFE solve this challenge? Basically, they created two competencies, two enterprise competencies. One is called team and technical agility. The other one is called lean portfolio management. So with these two competencies, they've created clear roles, clear responsibilities. They are doing a PI planning event, which gets everybody aligned. Basically, it's everybody that's doing an initiative uh, gets together and they talk about what's going to happen. If people on, let's say, um, uh, one team have issues with a team in uh, with the team that's doing the same initiative with them. So, for example, let's say a team in marketing has an issue with the team in legal. They just start talking about this. It's the same with companies that are more software oriented. So, for example, a team in business intelligence has a problem with the team that's doing, let's say, the platform development. So they get together, they talk. So it's within this huge 2-day event. Also, SAFE inspires organizations to do integrated demos. So if you have initiatives that are very big, you will have multiple teams that need to collaborate in order to deliver something. And in order to check whether you're on in progress or not, what you need to do is make sure that what they demonstrate is integrated, that everything works together, and you don't leave the integration work at the end when let's say the release or development process will have the biggest chance to actually fail. um, another way of doing this syncing, because the PI planning is an event that starts at the beginning of the quarter usually, is to actually gather all the leaders and have them sync together. So SAFE recommends that you have two roles. One is the PO and the other one is the Scrum Master role. And all the POs and all the Scrum Masters, with together with program management, they get together and they do this syncing meeting. It's the recommendation is twice per week. So basically, you have a progress check every 2 times every week. Now, one of the biggest things that SAFE brings is they give teams breathing space. They created what is called innovation and planning sprints. So every 5 sprints, the safe recommendation is to have one sprint that's only focused on innovation and planning the next program, the next big increment, the next big thing that we're going to do. So within this period, you do your PI planning, but you also do hackathons. You also do various community challenges. You do reading groups. You create various events within different guilds. So this is something that's really embedded in the DNA of SAFE, and this is something that I definitely recommend organizations to take into consideration. Now, last but not least, short-term results versus long-term vision. Um, I don't know how you guys feel about this interview question, but this is the best question that anyone can ask in the interview. Of course, this is ironic. I think a lot of people hate this. Um, a lot of people hate actually this question. It's no problem. If you want um, the recording, uh, send us an email on office@axpacademy.com, and we will send it. We will send you the full recording. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is the biggest question, basically, um, and this is a question of vision, actually. One of the secrets that I can share with you is that money does not represent motivation. So motivation is done by what is the problem that you are solving. This is the big question that organizations in the 21st century need to really answer and really figure out. Let me give you a few examples. So the first example is gaming. Uh, we love to entertain. This is our vision. We love to make products that people enjoy, that people have fun with. A second example, banking. We finance people's dreams. Basically, everybody has a dream, and for a lot of these dreams, we actually need money, and financing comes um, at handy usually. And I know that banking does not necessarily have uh, the reputation for being very um, uh, very heartwarming industry. However, people do have needs. People do have needs, and this is a way of um, putting numbers into the people's service. Oil, gas, utilities. We power up the whole world. This is how we take something that's, let's say, very mechanical, that's very industry oriented, and also oriented towards what the organization can actually give. What is the value of the organization in the whole world? Now, the skill for this third mindset is leading the change. William Edwards Deming famously said that when you want to change an organization, if you can't come, then send no one. This is exactly the way that um, agile transformations actually fail. A lot of the times, people hire agile coaches, but um, they're not really they're not really wishing to change. They want to solve some problems that they think that other people have. However, all the problems start from leadership. This is something that I can tell you. This is something that I've seen over and over again. Problems start from leadership, and if leadership is not able to lead the change, then the agile transformation or whatever type of change you want to do within your organization will definitely fail. So there are a few things that will help your change process. This is creating the reason for change, so the burning platform. Trying to make sure that you have enough people to do the change, making sure that you don't necessarily tell, you show people what you want to do, and that you learn agility, basically. So where does the burning platform term come from? It comes from oil rigs. Basically, when an oil rig has fire, catches on fire, you need to jump, because the oil rig will explode and you will die. It's the same thing with organizations that want to go through a change process. um, people need the people need the pain, and also people need the joy, right? So the pain of staying where we are, and the joy of creating something new, something that we will definitely be more comfortable with, and that will lead us to greater heights. And creating the vision, the thing that I said a little bit earlier, is uh, the one of the biggest assets that a burning platform can have. Coalition for change. So basically, you can't change an organization by yourself. This is something that was very painful in the beginning, when I started to work with organizations. I was very sure that the value that I was adding was amazing, was incredible. However, until we were not able to create enough traction, enough um, enthusiasm behind what we were trying to do, we weren't able to really shift the mindset and really shift everything towards creating transparency, visibility, and better working agreements. Now, of course, you need to role model and become a manager teacher yourself. So basically, if you want to have an agile organization, do learn what agility is. Do go and study what lean does. What does it mean to be lean? What does Kanban mean? And also, what is the Agile Manifesto? What are the agile methods and the agile frameworks out there? So one of the things that I can tell you here is Scrum is not agile, right? A lot of people have talked to me over the years, and they were saying agile, 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 and what they meant was Scrum. The funniest thing was I had a 20-minute argument with someone, and in 20 minutes, I never realized that I was talking about 4 values, 12 principles, and they were talking about Scrum, which is basically a process uh, framework. Or yeah, it's a framework now. It used to be a process framework until 6 months ago. Okay, so how does SAFe solve this challenge? Well, it solves it by creating the lean agile leadership competence. So basically, you have tools and templates for creating the vision. You have tools for linking the day-to-day work to the vision. They encourage creating a lean agile center of excellence, and they also have a clear training curriculum for each role that can be played within an organization. So if you want to learn more about SAFe, um, join a leading SAFe class. We do have one on the 25th, 26th of March. We want to do 2 more, one in May and one in July. We also have various certification programs. Of course, SAFe has various certification programs. And if you join the community, you have a lot of access to how-tos to the community platform. Also, one way of contacting us is mailing us at office@axpacademy.com. So I will also write it in the chat, and we will be very happy to see how we can help. So that was the presentation. I will also open the floor for questions. I hope you guys liked it. Do you guys have any questions for me? You can either write it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask. Thank you also, Bogdan. I must have done a great job. Either you guys understood everything or understood nothing. In which case, I've done an awful job. Thank you also, Mihai. So, if you guys don't have any questions, do leave a feedback. Um, what did you think about the session? How did you find it? We're very happy to know these things. It's really interesting for us. And if there are no questions, then I suggest we end this session. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for uh, having this time with us, and have an excellent have an excellent evening and an excellent weekend on Saturday. Bye, guys.
Cheers, bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.